Hello and welcome to the City of Cedar Falls Council meeting for Monday, February 20th, 2023. I will now call this meeting to order and ask for a roll call from Madam Clerk.
Schultz.
Here.
DeBoer.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
Harding.
Here.
Gamfield.
Here.
Sires.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
All members present, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Now, if everybody will stand up and please join in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, now over to the approval of the minutes. We'll take the first one, which are the approval of the regular meeting of February 6th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. All right, that passes. And now on to the meeting minutes for the special city council meeting of January 30th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been motion seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Do we have any agenda revisions, Madam Clerk?
Yes, we do, Mr. Mayor. Item 3 under special order of business is being removed. There was an agreement and the penalty was paid.
All right, thank you. Now we'll move over to special presentations, of which we do have one tonight. One of our own, Kim Kerr, has achieved the designation as a certified municipal clerk, a CMC, through the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. So I'm going to go down to the podium, and I'll ask Ms. Kerr to join me as well. All right, let me move this thing up. So we have a little description here. The Certified Municipal Clerk is a nationally recognized program designed to enhance the job performance of the clerk in small and large municipalities. To earn the CMC designation, a candidate must attend extensive education programs and requires pertinent experience in a municipality. The CMC program prepares the candidate to meet the challenges of the complex role of the municipal clerk by providing them with quality education in partnership with institutions of higher learning, as well as state, county, and national associations. So, congratulations, Kim Kerr, in achieving all that you needed to get this certification. And we're all about to see this for the first time. I've never seen this. I actually waited to open it up. So we have this certificate for you, signed by the president of, I'm assuming, the clerk president. So here you go. Congratulations. That's yours. Do you want to say anything, or are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for all you do for the city. All right, back here, and thanks to Jackie, another city clerk certified, for writing up what I needed to read because I did not know. All right, we are now on to public forum, in which speakers will have the opportunity to speak for up to 5 minutes on topics relevant to city business, and I'll open up the floor to anyone who wants to come forward. Yes, Ms. Beach. We'll have the name and address for the record, and
5018 Sage Road, Western Home Community, Rosemary Beach. Just a minute. There. I'm here again to talk about public restrooms. And I just was asked the other day, and I think by this group, where would you think about having one? Well, I've looked around, and I've figured down by the tea house, there's a parking lot, and I think you could build onto that. I've mentioned building onto the Main Street building, where we would have them downtown and usable. And I must say that my councilman did give me a picture of the restrooms that we do have that do exist and occasionally are open. That's the point. They're only occasionally opened. So I was going through, I am a member of Tuesday Club, which has been, this is our 130th year. I am not 130 years old, but I have been in that group for a long time. And I was looking through the back one day, and I found this little piece of information. The Tuesday Club was a women's club that was started by the women of Cedar Falls because the World's Fair was happening and they wanted to know what was going on. So looking back here in our history, on December 1898, well, let's go back to May 17th, 1898. A delegate from the club met with the City Federation, that's the City Federation of Tuesday Club, to use influence to have a light placed in the city park. This is what they were doing, city-wide things. December 1898, they cooperated with the City Federation in renting a waiting room for use of farmers' wives when in town. So they cared enough about the farmers' wives needing a restroom of some type, and I wish I knew where it was. That's the part I don't know. But seemingly, what I'm trying to do is tell you we are a better city than what we are right now by not having available restrooms. I'm going to add to that. I want you the next time that you get in a public building and you pull open the door and see how heavy that door is. Now, having a husband who has a walker in front of him here, and he has to reach that door, and even if it has an automatic switch on it, it's not enough to get a walker and a husband through that door, coming or going, without getting hit one way or the other. The pressure to pull those doors open, and for somebody, somewhere I heard you have to have a certain, I don't know, policy for how those are used. I'm not sure. Hopefully the city will know that answer. But we have, as a community that is a retirement community, I think we deserve better than that too. There are a lot of people out there who are using canes, using walkers, getting in and out of those bathrooms. And then if you ask for a bathroom in a restaurant, I mean, I don't know if they have to be certified or something, but I've often had to go hunt for him to get him out of the bathroom because you can't get the door open. They're too heavy. I just think we're better than that. And I think we should. It's not a big deal. Compared to your budget that you're going to do, you're not going to do the parking ramp, and that was where I was told fun, we'll put the thing in the parking ramp. Well, in 2000, what? If you're going to talk about parking ramps in a bathroom. I don't know. I just keep coming and telling you that we're a better place than that. And until you have somebody who needs the other helping hands, you don't know that you need it. So anyway, thank you for listening to me again. I may be back another time. You all look around for where you'd put a bathroom. Maybe you would find it where you would put a restroom. It is a thing that says good things about our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Beach, and we welcome you back next time. Anyone else from the floor wish to speak? Name and address for the record, please.
Julie Shimmick, 104 Main Street. I also own 109 Main Street. And I have lived downtown for the past 15 years, and I have operated my business for the past 27 years in downtown Cedar Falls. I'm going to try and follow my notes because I ramble. I know parking has come before council many times. Some of you are new to the conversation, but some of you have heard about it time and time again, so I hope you don't gloss over when I start to talk about parking. I had the perfect storm happen to me a couple weeks ago, and I need to see if someone can put forward a referral to change an ordinance that I myself did not know existed. Community Main Street did not know existed, and we were just trying to get to the bottom of it. But on January 27th, I moved my car. I buy a parking permit for the 200 or the East 2nd Street lot. It's got a new name. It used to be D lot. And I've bought my parking permit for 3 months, so I was a little confused when this happened to me. But on January 27th, I moved my car because I knew the snow was coming, and we usually park to the far back of the parking lot so that our customers can use the closer parking spots. On January 28th, I worked all day Saturday, and we were to get the snow the night before, but it started on 7 a.m. that morning and ended at 5:30 p.m. So on January 29th, I was to leave to go to market to buy for my store. So I left at 3 a.m. that morning, which would have been a Sunday morning. I was to fly back January 31st, and my flight was canceled 2.5 days. So I didn't get back till the 1st, I think it was. On January 31st, my car was ticketed for parking over 48 hours. And I was ticketed under the street ordinance of 48 hours. So that was City Code 23366 is what I was ticketed for. But my violation actually falls under section 23418 under the permit parking, which states that, well, I won't read the whole thing. I know I only have 5 minutes, but it says anybody with a parking permit must move their car every 48 hours, or you cannot park more than 48 consecutive hours without penalty of overtime parking. So it's really confusing that I have a parking pass, but I'm not allowed to park more than 48 hours. It does not tell me where I need to move my car or if I can move it one spot. If I can back up, pull in, I just have to move my car every 48 hours. So it's kind of a burden on somebody that works downtown and lives downtown. This ordinance has been very inconsistently, if not at all, enforced. I have lived down here 15 years. The past 2 years, this ordinance has been in effect, and I have never once been ticketed for over 48-hour parking. And during December, I'm in retail. I don't move my car hardly at all, and that's why we always try and park far back so we're out of the way. But, and so it makes it hard for a resident down here to even go on a vacation. I would have been back that 31st, so it wouldn't have been a problem, and I still probably wouldn't know about it. But my car was ticketed for the ordinance, and then it was towed the very next day. So I'm here to ask for a referral to try and get that changed, at least for residents, so that the residents can at least be allowed to park longer and not have to move your car every 48 hours. So I will state that all of the brochures downtown do say parking permits may be purchased for unlimited parking in all municipal lots. There was nothing on the website. When you go on to buy your parking permit, it also says parking permits may be purchased for unlimited parking in municipal lots. Permits are lot specific. Parking is on a first come, first served basis. So the information the city's putting out to us buying them is not consistent with your ordinance, and it kind of blindsides a few people. So I'm hoping something can get changed on this. I also don't think this has been enforced much before, because the public safety stickers you have on there, they say street parking, but then they crossed it off and wrote lot.
30 seconds.
So, but if we can get something done for the residents downtown, it would be greatly appreciated, and then we have a home to maybe park our cars. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Name and address for the record, please.
Tammy Stahl, 1009 Lakeshore Drive. Cedar, citizens deserve to know. It is my belief our Fire Chief Bostwick is and has been an outstanding employee, city representative, and citizen. I believe he had a target on his back because of public safety. I believe he was warned to watch his back by former employees in the know. I have deducted he was told to get rid of more firemen, which he refused. I have also been told city officials did not see the need of all the firemen. City officials conduct business such that you cannot defend yourself unless you get a lawyer, likely not even a local one, so your tactics continue unobstructed. I suspect there are at least at a minimum unethical, if not illegal, tactics being used at all our expense. Bostic was a whistleblower. My deduction is as follows. To get rid of more firemen and possibly dismantle public safety, during COVID, public safety hours worked were changed. Some were asked or even requested to stay home. Time cards were submitted correctly, but inadvertently, they were paid anyway. With COVID money flying all over, POC employees did not question the pay. In Bostwick's thoroughness, he discovered the overpay going out to a person and reported it to management. He assumed management or payroll would take care of this highly unusual issue. Sometime later, POC Chief Olson retired, and Mr. Birdie was promoted to fire chief. From fire chief to head of POC. At this time, Mr. Howard was appointed as temporary police chief. Somewhere in the mix, it was realized nothing had been done about the overpay. Howard was then was then also appointed to do a review of this matter. All the others were left out of the review, but except Bostwick and the Public Works employee, not Bertie Olson, city admin, works management, or payroll. Howard may have even done a second review and found at least one salaried police POC individual who was also overpaid. The POC fire employees were forced into retirement, and in the case of the POC police, 2 employees were promoted, and the overpaid policeman allowed to make up his pay in overtime. Some questions. Most entities I'm aware of got lots of money to pay employees sent home because of COVID. I suggest it was the same for city employees. Did the city get money to pay employees? If the city did get COVID money, where did that money go, and why is the police employee having to reimburse money? Have to reimburse in overtime, and did the works employee have to pay back the portion of overpay he received during COVID shutdown? Why are these 2 situations managed differently and one kept quiet? Do you see Bertie on administrative leave and forced into retirement? I believe the admin had a goal and the temp police chief had something to gain. A job as police chief if he came to the desired conclusion and proved to be a yes person to the administration. I think the city knows this was unethical and hired a second entity that was likely also compromised to do an additional review, possibly the same law firm representing the city on the Bostwick issue now, and that was involved in the lawsuits of former firemen. I am also suspicious this lawyer or firm was misunderstanding or was misrepresenting both offers of negotiation to and from City Council in Bostwick about offers of resolution and Bostwick's request to speak to City Council and City Council's desire to hear from him. The mayor, lawyers, and admin refused to allow them to communicate or Bostwick to be heard unless the letter of dismissal was put forth by the mayor. I also suspect city council members were threatened with dismissal if they did their own research or spoke of what was happening. I say this was to control discovery and not protect Bostwick's rights. The lawyers are likely doing the bidding of Mayor Green and the city administration and not the city council and citizens' best interests. I suggest city
1 minute
council and
remains.
citizens, this is not just a mayoral issue. This is also a city administrative issue. Mr. Gaines, Bertie, Howard, and Green need to be investigated and dealt with, keeping in mind what they did to our highly respected fire chief of 42 years, a long-term works employee in our citizens' trust. I point out to all the huge expenses Bostwick has had to incur in lawyer fees, along with the stress inflicted on he and his family. Our city cannot have trust in this administration until the facts are out in the open and there is an uncompromised investigation. People and policies need to change so these things are not allowed to happen in this manner again. I also chastise city council members that refuse to question our city administration. I would say you were put in your position on city council for the purpose of giving city
That's your time,
administration.
Ms. Stahl,
I
unless
request more time.
everybody,
Couldn't we give her a little more time?
any objections?
No.
All right, you can have 2 extra minutes.
They were you were put in your position so that city administration had its unobstructed control. I also believe people have been allowed to serve in selection boards that have campaign donation conflicts of interest, as in Dunn and Bertie. It also needs to be investigated as how city emails were tampered with during the election process, potentially affecting election outcomes. I have also gotten word of city administration threatening city council members of in doing them ineffective and doing personal damage to their private business if they do not kowtow to them. I am passing out procedural information on how to dismiss elected officials, such as Mayor Green, and how to dismiss, I'll leave off kick to the curb, unelected city officials. That's what I heard last city council meeting so many times. City council also needs to file an ethics complaint against lawyers and the city in the handling of the Bostwick matter, as should each and every citizen. We want our dollars and energies focused on building our city up in a positive direction, not in payouts for manipulative, vindictive actions and lawsuits. I also point out that other things are what other things are going on behind the scenes on other city business, such as our coveted hospital and private public works. Next, I ask, why is Mayor Green not here tonight? It is my understanding he is off to a meeting on city flood operations. How is he qualified to be the person at this meeting? That would be the fire chief's job. I believe Bostwick ran our flood coordination that was nationally broadcast and applauded in 2008. Likely Bostwick could be presenting at this meeting Green is attending. Could this be another example of mismanagement? Our city's preparedness, protection of critical infrastructure, and water quality is
All
of
right.
vital
And
importance
that
to
is
this
your
day
time.
and age and should not be minimized.
Excuse me,
Is there
ma'am.
more management in this? Is there more?
Order, please. Tammy, please. That is your time. Unless council wishes to extend it, I am sticking to the rules at hand.
I just wondered how much more she needed. It looked like she was about done.
I was going to ask as well. All right, a couple things real quick. As for referrals,
Did you need another minute?
Yes, I need another minute.
Another minute?
if council wants to grant it, that's fine. I would like to stop when the time comes up to
Okay,
follow
I'm sorry.
procedure
Thank
and
you.
then allow council to
I'm
make their
sorry, I'm
decision.
I'm nervous being up here.
Would council like to grant one more minute or
If not, I have
Yeah.
someone else that will read this.
One more minute.
Thank
one
you.
more minute, please?
I
Thank you.
ask who in fact is losing with the forced retirement of Bostwick at the hands of Bree, Bertie Howard, the city administration, and city council members that do not fight back. We, the people, are the losers. We are witnessing the weaponization of our city management. The city has shown a lack of respect for our individual civil rights. They are even using tactics to silence our media intended to keep us informed and officials honest. If they push too hard for information, the media risks not getting future leads in retaliation from this administration. I suggest Fire Chief Bostwick is beyond kind and forgiving to our city and being willing to continue to reside in our city and being willing to give access to his experience and knowledge after all that has happened. In reality, he should be throwing us to the curb and suing the heck out of the city. Thanks for your mercy and composed grace, Fire Chief Bostwick. He should also be getting his significant lawyer fees reimbursed, a glowing letter of gratitude along with his rightful sign-off. It is beyond time for we, the citizens, to take back control of our city. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I wanted to address, could you please hand them,
I believe you're supposed to give them to.
could you hand them to, yeah. Thank you.
There's one.
And while she does this, I wanted to address a couple things. First of all, just for people that we said there was a mention of a referral. Referrals happen at the end of meetings, just so everybody knows. So we can look for that. If there is going to be a referral, it would be at the end. So we're not able to make referrals right now. Also, to the COVID money
That's all right.
from the city, does can we answer or have a staff comment on the COVID money to the cities and what we got? Are we because it was a little bit.
Lisa can report on that if she remembers. Obviously, it's been a little while, but I think
Just
she's
was
coming over
curious
here.
if we had information for the public on how we received money during COVID, or if we did, etc.
The funding that we did receive some public safety funds, and it was for the protection of during COVID, and those funds were set aside for capital projects. It just went towards the employment costs and benefits during that period, during March of 20 through, I can't remember the time frame, but it started there in March of 2020.
And that would be information that if someone requested would be fairly easy to get, or?
Correct. I'd be able to get more information when I got
Okay,
back to the
so if
office.
anyone has any questions on COVID monies received, could reach out and we
Mr.
could help.
Mayor?
Okay. Yes, sir.
I recall it as $6 million we got.
That was the ARPA funding,
Yeah.
which was,
And then it went to the sewer fund.
yeah, that's ARPA.
Yeah.
ARPA was a little different than, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the ARPA funds were designated funds that we had to spend on specific city infrastructure things, I believe. Could someone correct me? if I'm wrong. We couldn't just spend it on anything.
Weren't
we
they
wanted.
tied into COVID, though?
They were. The ARPA funds
Okay.
were American, what did it stand
American
for?
Rescue Plan.
Plan,
American
yeah.
Rescue
There were
Plan.
4 allowed expenditures. I don't remember all of them offhand, but one of them was infrastructure, one of them was tax reduction, and I can't remember the other 2.
But we don't remember how much our
It was
labor cost money was, because we had offers through my businesses to be reimbursed, but we all just worked through COVID. So I never asked for any reimbursement. I was just curious when she brought it up. I mean,
Yeah, as far as I know, the ARPA funds were a different deal, and then as far as the monies that we received, for labor force, I'm not aware of.
Yeah,
of us receiving anything.
I have a worksheet back at the office that actually details all of the COVID funds that we received, whether it was under Section 8 program or the CDBG program. We did receive some rec reimbursements for some lack of revenues there. So
Okay.
I have a worksheet that details all of that.
So safe to say that if anyone has questions on any COVID funds, we have a sheet of it, and we can easily get you the information so you can contact your council person, or you can contact Lisa. She'll
Yep.
help you out. She has the sheet. So, yes, Director
Sure.
Rodenbeck.
Just looking real quick, because I figured it was probably in September of 2021. So the public safety amount that Lisa's referring to, there was actually a resolution on September 7th, 2021 that shows the $963,401. That's probably what you're referring to. Lisa, that the council actually approved that resolution to transfer to our emergency reserve fund. So
Okay.
that happened on September 7th of 2021.
Thank you. All right, we shall continue with public forum. Name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Don Blau. I live at 527 Jessica Lane here in Cedar Falls. But I'm representing a building I have downtown, 120 Main Street. I'm here, first of all, to support Julie Shimmick, but before that happens, I want to thank Rosemary Beach, our first speaker tonight, because she is Miss Cedar Falls as far as her heritage and the culture that she's brought to our town. And when Rosemary speaks, I can't believe everybody doesn't pay attention exactly to what she states, and I know this is not her first time here tonight. A restroom downtown was promised to us, right down there in the building where the pizza place is, on 2nd and State Street there. That was going to be a very modern restroom that was supposed to be put in there. Then that got excluded out of the plans after a few months passed by. So Rosemary's right on key, and I think a city, like she says, the size of Cedar Falls, we travel, my wife and I, to Galena, Illinois, beautiful public restrooms. Savannah, Georgia, beautiful restrooms. Asheville, and those are larger cities, but there's a city, Cedar Falls is 40,000 plus. Rosemary's hitting it right on the head, and why she doesn't get her address that she wants done, I can't believe it hasn't happened yet, because that's a very inconvenience for people, especially some of the businesses down there when they got people that have to use the restrooms, especially on hot summer days. But with that, I'm here actually to support Julie Shimmick. Julie Shimmick, as she spoke just a little earlier, has a place downtown, and she had that predicament, which I thought was a travesty, on her car getting towed away. I feel Cedar Falls has made headway with downtown. We have accomplished so much, until I hear about the restroom not getting done. But the things we have accomplished have been fantastic. The parking is something that has been an eyesore for people coming to town, not being able to park. The parking has been a dilemma for 2 decades. Way back in 2005, that's when I became a building owner down there. I remember talking to John Cruz right over here, and we walked down to the alley down there. And that was before a lot of this renovation was taking place. I was, in fact, just getting ready to renovate 120 Main Street, and I put thousands of dollars in. And so has people on both sides of me, so has many of the buildings down there. Andy Shimmick, remodeled buildings down there. We've put hundreds of thousands of dollars into remodeling downtown. And when John, and I knew him from way back when, we talked, and there was a free parking back there where people could put extra cars, if they were going to be gone for a week, or if they had a trailer they had to pull for a day or two. All of a sudden, and John says, don't worry about it, Bilal, we're going to take care of you. You always have parking back here. Well, then all of a sudden, in somebody's wisdom, the parking lot gets given away. so we can do construction and do a new building. The first plan of the building, and he also said, don't worry about the building behind you. It's not even going to even block the river from the runner's flat back window. So I said, that's fine. It was a 2-story building with 6 small retail shops in it. And the second story was going to be a room for wedding receptions or for parties and things that you could rent out. That was the first plans that were drawn out and shown to all of us down there. Next thing you know, plans changed a month or 2 or 6 months later. Now all of a sudden we have a 4-story building, 2 floors of retail, double the size, and all of a sudden we got 2 floors of apartments. This all happened on that block right behind Runner's Flat and Single Speed. So what happens in essence is we give away a parking lot. Then when the people don't want to continue doing the work on the parking lot, it gets given back to the city. I checked with Dick McAllister and some other people. I never could get any records of when did all this happen or why did it happen. But when I have John Cruz tell me, don't worry about it, that was, I thought, something that Rosemary Beach would understand, because usually back then your word stood for something. I think what happened with this parking, I have 2 renters that live above my runner's flat. I pay personally their $35 a piece for their parking ticket. That's $70 a month. I never was aware that they couldn't park their car in one spot and leave it there for 48 hours. That was news to me when I found this out about her getting her car towed away. I feel when you pay a pass for a month, and I've been doing it now for 2 years plus, and I was told by the office right down the hall here that they only give out like 10 parking passes. All right, I understand it, but I also feel that if you pay that amount, you should have the availability of parking that car there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, the unfortunate thing about the parking behind Runner's Flat, there is no parking available on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from like 5 to 9 o'clock because of all the interest downtown with the restaurants, the bars, and all the activities going on.
I'll grant you 2 extra minutes right off the bat. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. And what's happened is that apartment building, the retail where the donut place is down there, they've taken up 33 spots of parking spaces allocated to that building. Our buildings were there 100 years earlier. There's 12 retail buildings running from Cup of Joe's down to Single Speed. There are 19 residents that live above them. That part of Main Street, I call it the cornerstone of Main Street, because that is the main part of our city. All of a sudden, we're being told that we can't even park behind our own apartments there, buildings. I don't mind having to pay for parking pass, but I'll guarantee you those 33 people that are getting free passes in that apartment complex, they're not paying a dime for it. I feel this all could have been alleviated years ago if we would have just had one spot allocated for each one of the apartments, and maybe even up to 12 or 14, instead of 19. I'm not sure above a couple places if they still have as many people there. What we have done is we have 33 allocated to a gentleman so he can make sure all his retail people and their apartments get taken care of. The rest of us that basically pay real high taxes in our buildings have done all the renovating to make them very beautiful. We are basically getting nothing out of this. So in essence, all I want to say is I feel Julie was really shamed by what happened. Her and Andy are 2 outstanding citizens in downtown. They do more than a lot of us in this room would ever think about doing. They could have alleviated and not towed a car. All you have to do is get on the internet. And it isn't the lady or the man that's coming around doing it. It's the people that sit up here in these offices. All you have to do is say, hey, wait a minute, we're not towing the Shimmick vehicle. There's a reason why this happened. But anyway, I just want to show support for that. I think that a parking amendment needs to happen, and it can happen overnight. In this city, things happen overnight if you know the right people. And I've been
7
here.
minutes?
No, that's
Yeah,
fine.
okay. Just
Thank
checking.
you very much.
No problem. Appreciate you. All right. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Going once. You can't say anything else. That's the rules. I'm a stickler. All right. We're going to continue on then to old business. Old business number 4 is passing ordinance 30.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. My apologies. You are correct. We need staff updates. I was ready for old business, though. But we'll go ahead, kick it over to Mr. Green.
Mr. Mayor, if you'll go ahead and give me a few minutes.
Sure.
I have Stephanie Sheets and Bailey Schindel. They're going to introduce a couple of new employees that we have with the city. These employees are obviously ones that will interact with the public, so I thought we'd take this time to do that. So.
Good evening, Council. I'm here tonight to introduce our Cultural Program Supervisor, Corey Ann Hurlis, who is here, and she's going to step up in just a little bit. Just a little bit of background about Corey. She started at the Hearst Center for the Arts back in September with us, so she's gotten a couple months under her belt at this point. And she is new to the city of Cedar Falls. Her background is in arts administration. She most recently directed public art, changing exhibitions, and music programs for the city of Austin's airport. Previously, some of her roles have included in the museum field, have been curator, collections manager, and archivist. So she is here tonight to answer any questions the council might have, but mostly to say hello so you can put a name with the face and know who's working hard down at the Hearst with the staff there.
Welcome.
Howdy, y'all.
Oh, you said y'all.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I haven't been able to shake the Austin, Texas, those little Southern hospitality phrases, but I just wanted to say I've been grateful for my time here in Cedar Falls. I'm very blessed to have had great support from the other city employees in my start in the role here. And I've been genuinely moved by citizens, people who've come into the Hearst to express how much they love the building and what we offer. And I'm also grateful for the staff who's been amazing. So I'm looking forward to many more years to come.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Bailey.
Hi, Council. I'm here today with Chelsea Luring. The city is glad to have her, welcome her as our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Specialist. She started with us in January, so she has been here just over a month now. And in that month, she's accomplished a lot of items already. A couple of things she's done is reviewed our documents for inclusive language in our city website. She's gotten involved in the Cedar Falls Human Rights Commission. She's developing a training plan for the city that involves some diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives to better improve our training in that field. And oh gosh, a bunch of projects, but I'm gonna let Chelsea talk for a little bit here about her background and tell you a little bit more about herself.
Welcome, Chelsea.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it seems like I've been here a little while now, but yeah, just been kind of hitting the ground running. Today I actually met with Joy Briscoe of One Cedar Valley, so I've been, making as many connections as I can and in the Cedar Valley, and a little bit about my background. So I do have a mental health background, also a journalism background, and I most recently was at VGM Education and helped put together healthcare courses for people in the healthcare field, mostly in long-term care, and then also on the home medical equipment side. Two of the areas that I really enjoyed writing about and putting courses together were DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then our mental health courses as well. So kind of have a varied background, but I enjoy learning, so I know I'm already learning a ton already, and yeah, I'm just really happy to be here. So,
Well, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Corey and Chelsea will get welcome.
So maybe just another real quick update for the council. If you recall, a couple weeks ago, Jennifer Rodenbeck gave you a presentation on our budget and where we're going with our budget. Two of the big things that we had to talk about was the city rollback that's down at the state and what they're determining down there, and then also our county EMA, or our Consolidated Communications Commission. And so we're getting a little bit more clarity on both of those issues, which are both going to impact the budget. As you know, in the city rollback, it looks like they've talked about reducing that from 56 down to 54. Our understanding is it's passed both chambers of the Senate and the House, and it's on the governor's desk for signature. So we should be looking at moving forward with that. One of the things that legislation does do is it extends our time period to approve that budget now. So we'll have till the end of April for that. And as many of you know, we also have a little bit of an update from our Consolidated Communications Commission. This is going to drastically impact our budget this year. There was a vote taken by that commission, and it was not unanimous, but it did increase Cedar Falls' contribution this year from $618,939. That's what we paid for FY 23 to just under 1.2 million. It's going to be $1,184,584. So that's a significant increase that we're going to have to figure out how to deal with within our budget. So I know there's going to be a lot of other questions that we're going to have to deal with regard to that. So, yeah, if you had any questions, or I know that the mayor sent out an update to most of you, and I think there is. I don't say this often, Andy, but I think there's a really good article in the Courier that outlined kind of everything that happened. So,
all right. Well, thank you. I'm sure that we will have a lot more on the budget in the following meetings coming up. All right, now we're on to old business. So, we're on number 4, passing the ordinance number 3023, amending the zoning map by placing property located on lots 5 and 6 of the Midway Business Park in the R4 multiple unit residential zoning district pursuant to provisions of a zoning agreement upon its third and final consideration. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions from council? Is there any questions from the public, or anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? All right, well, with that, this one will require a roll call vote.
All voting aye.
Thank you, Councilman Cruz. We've got you.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. And that moves us on to passing the ordinance number 3024, amending the zoning map by removing property generally described as lots 1 through 4 of Midway 2nd Edition from the R4 multiple unit residential zoning district to the R1 1 and 2 unit residential zoning district upon its third and final consideration. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from council? Any from the public? All right. This requires a roll call vote as well.
Cruz votes aye.
Thank you, Councilman Cruz.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
All right. That passes. And that takes us over to the consent calendar. The following items will be acted upon by a voice vote on a single motion without separate discussion unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. So, does anyone from the council wish to pull any number 6 through 13? All right. Does anyone from the public wish to pull a number 6 through 13? All right. Well, with that, I will take a motion to approve 6 through 13 on the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. That passes. That moves us on to the resolution calendar, where the following items will be acted upon by a roll call vote on a single motion without separate discussion unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. And I believe we're going to pull number 18, correct, for the historic. So does council wish to pull any other numbers from 15 through 28? All right. Any members of the public wish to pull anything 15 through 28, with 18 already being pulled? All right. Well, with that, I would take a motion to approve items 15 through 28 minus 18.
So move.
Second.
All right. It's been motioned and seconded, and this will require a roll call vote.
Cruz votes aye.
Thank you, Councilmember Cruz.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. And that brings us back to resolution number 18, which is a resolution approving and authorizing submission of the Iowa Certified Local Government, the CLG, 2022 annual report of the Historic Preservation Commission to the State Historical Society of Iowa. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded, and we'll open up the floor. Can you give us a name, introduction, and...
Hi, I am Julie Etheridge. I'm the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission. We just wanted to give you a little bit of an update of what we've done this last year and what we're planning to do this coming up year. This last year we did a tour of the Lawn Park city area in Overman Park, and it was a great success. We've never had so many people show up. We had over 150 participants come. We had to do the tour in groups of 3 different groups walking around. We had multiple homeowners come out on their porches to come and talk about their histories. Some had pictures. We had some homeowners that let us go through their back gardens and things. So it was a great tour. And we had people that drove from over 4 hours away who came to come and do that tour. So this year we're looking at building on that. We are partnering with the College Hill Partnership, and we're looking at doing another walking tour of the homes around Searly Park. We're looking at doing that in May, kind of a tentative date of May 11th, but we want to do it in May. It's Historic Preservation Month every year, so we're trying to hit that going. And then the other thing that we're going to be focusing on this year is we are going to be writing a grant to do a windshield survey of the Overman Park area to identify historic homes. We have been seeing some more things getting torn down, so we want to identify anything that we really want to know that's there and to keep track of, and to keep try to help them keep that up and going. And if there are any other resources, if we were able to have a district, and if they were able to be eligible for tax credits. So that is our other project for this year, is writing that CLG grant.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for your service, and thanks for the update.
All right, thank you.
Do any council members have any questions about this item? Anyone from the... All right. Well, it's been motioned and seconded, and it requires a roll call vote.
Cruz votes aye.
And it's Julie, right?
Yes.
Julie, thank you so much. We really appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Well, that brings us right around the corner to bills and claims. Is there a motion to approve the bills and claims?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Do any council members have questions, or anyone from the public wish to talk about bills and claims? All right. Well, with that, this will require a roll call vote.
Cruz votes aye.
Thank you, sir.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
All right. That moves us over to council updates and announcements. Do any council members have any updates or announcements? All right. And then it brings us over to referrals, of which I'm sure there are some.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Cedar.
I'd like to refer to Kelly's committee, the parking ordinance change for downtown for the first block of Main Street. I think there needs to be a little bit of work done down there.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right.
Second.
Opened up for discussion. I'm going to start. I was going to make a similar motion or a referral. I was wondering if instead of like limiting it to the first block, if we could just talk about possibly broadening it to parking as it pertains to residents downtown that are buying permits for the municipal lots, because then we could talk about anyone who's a resident, what are the options and stuff, rather than just limiting it. Is that open? Are you okay with that?
Well, I'm okay with that. The issue seems to be right there on that parking lot behind there, and if we could just address that one first and clean that one up, then that might set an example for the other places that might have the exact same problem. That's all I was thinking. Otherwise, it's a huge mess that we can't kind of get our hands around, and I know Kelly likes to discuss parking. We already talked about that. So
I get what you're saying. The only thing with that is that there's only the ordinance you would then have to tailor to a specific lot rather than tailoring an ordinance that covers there's how many municipal lots do we have?
5 downtown.
5
12.
downtown.
Downtown.
We would just be talking about the downtown ones.
Right.
So if we just talked about those 5, I feel like, it would be at least a starting point.
I thought the starting point would be that parking lot. That's all. But do whatever you want.
Well, then I'm going to direct the calls to you when
That's
someone
fine.
who parks in the other lot gets upset about it.
That's fine.
What is
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir. Mr. Cruz, or Councilmember Cruz.
there have been reports to me of problems in the other parking lots too for residents, so I think discussing all the downtown parking lots would be appropriate.
All right. So with that, can we do a friendly amendment, or do we need a official amendment, Mr. Rogers?
Official amendment.
Okay. So I would make. Well, I'm presiding officer.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
For clarity, I just wanted to verify, were we talking about the ordinance review, which would be citywide for municipal lots? Or what was the original referral?
It was to talk about the ordinance, and so that was it. But I would open it up to even entertain creative options of what's possible to look at.
Yeah. I guess for a point of privilege, could we restate the motion? Was it inclusive of just the ordinance? I know this is the unique impact is this lot, but reviewing the ordinance is a citywide impact.
I was just trying to keep it simple because there are so many public lots all over town. That's all. But whatever you guys decide to do will be fine.
I got a question for, I guess maybe Jackie or Ron. These permits that are sold, are they sold just downtown, or are they sold throughout all the public lots?
They're sold at all the lots. For all the lots, they're lot specific. So you purchase a permit for the lot you want to park in.
So I think that would be our directive there, is we want to focus on all of them.
So for just a point of order, because we could quickly go down the rabbit hole of talking about this, the parking ordinances, if you look at them, are different for College Hill than they are for downtown. So with one of them has paid lots and one of them doesn't.
Correct.
So they're
Correct.
slightly different, correct?
But some same.
But some same. So if we just look at, I guess my point was, there's some variance there. So if we just look at downtown and we say, hey, let's talk about the downtown lots and what the ordinance is for those lots specifically, and then what are the issues we're hearing and how can we solve it? That's it.
May I make that, Mayor Pro Tem? I'll make that amendment to the original referral to talk about.
Second.
You say parking permits in downtown parking lots, and review that, what might need to be changed or not
that's
changed on that?
second.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Also, may I make possibly make a amendment? Would that go to finance and business operations, or would that go to public works?
I think it would go finance and business,
Okay.
just because that's where parking is.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so there's my amendment to the referral.
All right, and Councilman Cruz seconded it. So we have an amendment to open it up a little bit more broad to just downtown lots, as well as reviewing the ordinance and what's possible going forward, what issues we're having. So do any council members have questions on the amendment? All right, so we're only voting on the amendment right now. So it's a voice vote. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay. I'm the only one against it. It'll be fine, Simon. It'll pass.
All right. So we're back to the amendment, or the referral as amended, and we are going to vote on sending that to the finance business. So are there any final comments? I don't want, like I said, I don't want to get in the weeds on the actual item. We're sending it there. So anything on the actual motion with the amendment? All right. So this is also a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
You did something with 7 votes. Yes. All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Just as a
Councilmember
follow-on, not as a
Lindbergh.
referral, but can we get some clarity? I'd like to see us ease off on the enforcement of this discrepancy in the interim until we make a decision. Is that something that we can get with a consensus?
I would defer to
I'm asking staff.
Kevin if we can do something like that, since it's not
Moratorium?
on the agenda.
We're not going to talk about moratoriums.
No.
Staff understands that the parking situation's under review, and we'll keep that in mind as we enforce.
Perfect.
Fair. All right. Are there other referrals that we wanted to talk about tonight or bring up?
So with to just finish this up then, with the situation that we've had, the Shimmicks particularly, are we going to hold them to the standard that we're still trying to figure out if they were aware of, or do we want to come to some resolution with them? Pay her back for her fine.
I don't know that it's appropriate to talk about that at this juncture. That would be something it's not. I don't feel like it's appropriate to talk about that at this point in time. So, yeah, we're going to keep moving on. Sorry.
Okay.
Do you entertain a referral?
We could, I guess, but then you would get into...
I'll just step in right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a pending case, counsel. We shouldn't be talking about a pending case that's going to be decided. I expect Ms. Schmick to fully exercise her rights to contest that ticket.
Okay. So just for clarification on process, then if someone wanted to contest the ticket and go forward, how does that process look, and how does that look?
The person who wishes to challenge the ticket is provided a form they fill out, and then it gets set for hearing, and it's decided at that point. So.
And where's the hearing? Who does the hearing? Just for
Magistrate in Blackhawk County District Court.
Okay. So I think that's the way we should go with that, rather.
Okay, that's
okay. It's an
that's fine.
appropriate process by law, and I like to follow that as much as possible.
Mayor Harding, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So really, so in terms of 48-hour parking, just to clarify, my staff does 48-hour enforcement all over town and always has. So is that affecting what our officers are expected to do?
My understanding is what we just talked about is some lax enforcement within the parking lot in the downtown area.
I believe that it's appropriate, since it's a referral, that we're going to talk about the ordinance and which direction we want to go.
As it pertains to the 48-hour limitation.
Yes.
So just municipal parking lots is what I heard.
As it pertains to the 48-hour,
Okay.
that's the part that's under review.
Downtown parking lot.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other referrals tonight? Okay. Seeing that, we'll move on, and we do have an executive session, so I would take a motion to move us to executive session to discuss collective bargaining per Iowa Code Section 20.173 as negotiating sessions, strategy meeting of public employers, mediation, and the deliberative process of arbitrators.
So move.
Second.
And this will require a roll call vote.
Cruz votes aye.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
All right. So we will now adjourn to the executive session, and what that means is we're going to go back there and talk because by state law, we will come back out here and adjourn. You are welcome to stay and hang out, play your phone, and we'll be back to adjourn when we're done.